Let us actually dive into the our Taiwanese market now. I'd like to introduce my good friend Daniel Chen, founder and president LTM Association, to do a quick presentation on the top trends and opportunities unfolding in Taiwan. Daniel will then moderate a panel of travel leaders who are turning a moment of history into opportunity. So Daniel, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Kay. So I hope my voice is clear enough. So let's begin with Taiwan travel market updates. So good morning, the world. This is Daniel from Taipei. I'm going to briefly talk about Taiwan travel markets, followed by introduction and panel discussion of the other three panelists from Taiwan altogether. Next slide, please. So next slide, please. So, okay, I would say Taiwan is one of the most COVID-feared country on the planet because we are so not used to living with COVID throughout these 2 years. The relatively well-controlled pandemic gives Taiwan opportunity to continue developing domestic tourism and real economy, but also the challenge on reopening the border and embracing the new order. So from my side, I didn't see the PowerPoints being changed to the new slide. Yes, this is the one. So this is how Taiwan controls the pandemic over the 2 years of the past. And we get some exciting GDP numbers and performance on the market situation. Next slide, please. So behind these GDP numbers, travel and tourism are indeed impacted. From the revenue table, we could see how industry dramatically dropped when comparing with 2019, especially during May and September last year when pandemic had a breakout. For the time being, business of those who rely on domestic market has been pulling back to about like 80%. But of those who rely on international tourists are still suffering from great loss and reshaping their business model. Next slide, please. So let's pick up a month and take a micro look at the revenue of listed companies. For travel agency, unfortunately, numbers don't look good because main players used to do outbound travel as main business, while there are too little profits for domestic products. So they are turning to new product lines such as restaurants of Lion Travel, pretending going abroad flight, of Easy Fly Travel, or gym, a new gym for Phoenix Tour, etc. While hotels are relatively less painful, getting 70% business back. But what's worth of giving attention are, number one, quarantine hotels that make a lot of money. Number two, staycation hotels located in countryside tourist destinations that become the most welcome places. Next slide, please. So for the catering sector, it has same logic with hotels. Source of business comes from inbound quarantine travelers and staycation domestic tourists. And transportation sector is more interesting. Taiwan's leading airline, China Airlines, almost fully recovered from pandemic thanks to its cargo business. In addition, car rental and a taxi service embraced the rising demand, especially during the pandemic breakouts. And the most highlighted trend is that luxury vacation for yacht leisure ships meet their super growing opportunity when rich people have no way to spend money overseas. Next slide, please. Control pandemic, push domestic market and share the best interests with those suppliers in destination. So taking this Liuqiu Island in southern Taiwan as example, with only 6.8 square kilometers and 12,000 population, its B&B and hotels grew to over 400, welcoming over like 1 million tourists every year at about 10 to 15% growth rate. That's amazing. And that also caused severe over-tourism problems. So opportunities and challenges are always together. Taiwan needs a good management framework over those over-tourism destinations, so to keep the industry lively, but under sustainable development pattern. Next slide, please. So on travel channel and technology, there are also some good news. Razio, the PMS for local experience, helped KK Day Group to successfully raise the C round at 7.5 million. FunNow, the booking platform for in-city vacation and day use hotels, raised 1.5 million US dollars. Asia.io has highly surpassed its 2019 revenue thanks to domestic staycation market and quarantine hotels booking, while Tripresso opens its new brand. It's called Commit for B2B technology and incentive tour services. Besides, we had food delivery, data analyzing, blockchain, Metaverse that are all have great amount of new players, and they're starting to evolve in travel and lifestyle domains. So I would say pandemic gives Taiwan market a great timing and chance to integrate these online and offline tech and cultural businesses all together. Next slide, please. So this chart describes the post-COVID market trend. Consumer would choose to either stay home, enjoying improved online and delivered services, or they would choose to overcome the pandemic fear to go out, but they spend more money on staycation, in-depth cultural experiences, and they expect to enjoy more. So this chart is also the innovation model Taiwan travel industry is now building up with joint efforts from other industries. Next slide, please. So let me have a quick conclusion here. There are several trends ongoing here in Taiwan, but thanks to the time limit, we will talk about these trends later on. So following up, I will have Gina Tsai of Creative Tourism and Community Design Association in Taiwan. We will have Ryan Shen from Lion Travel and James Lee from MomentX to briefly introduce their topics before entering the panel discussion. Gina, please. So next slide. And next slide.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm Gina Tsai from the Creative Tourism and Community Design Association. Next slide, please. You must be wondering what is placemaking. In Japan, we call it regional revitalization. And then in Taiwan, we also borrow the words from Japan. So it's actually not just about building a hardware or a centers for the local community. It's actually building of an ecosystem that actually can help the local residents to build a business and also help them to promote their community history and to tell their story to not just their local people, but also tourists. So you got to think that what is the relevance between the place I can show you how to do it. If you can see that the next slide, you will see that in a placemaking people, because they can provide the content that is all local and authentic, so that when the travel agency or like the tourist, when they travel to there by themselves, they actually can experience. Then the most important thing of all, it is sustainable. So if you can see the photo here is actually the tour. I bring a group of people to the east coast of Taiwan, Hualien, and we visit two Aboriginal tribe where they actually teach them how they live, make the living, and also how they doing the hunting in the mountains, so that the people there can enjoy the sustainable tourism, but also they can experience the local authentic lifestyle by the local people. And let's move to next slide. And then you will see, okay, it seems that you got to visit this place. How about the pandemic? if you cannot do this visit in person, how to do that. So this is the innovation way where the people I actually try to the group of people I support, they actually provide a fine dining service in Taitung, but there's no tourists in the lockdown areas. In order to attract the tourists after the lockdown to visit them, they actually send in a box with the frozen food to your home, and then they teach you how to make this rice dumpling online. In order to make it entertained, they actually make it a very beautiful, entertaining way to teach you online. So basically, that is what we did as the association, and let's discuss more about how that will help the domestic tourism later. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan. I'm representing Lion Travel. I currently help them to invest in strategy. Let me briefly introduce Lion Travel. We are the #1 listed travel company in Taiwan. 3 major numbers. First, we create about $1 billion annual revenue. That means we bring about 2 million Taiwanese tourists to travel around the world every year. And our currently market cap is about $200 million. So, yeah, we are the #1 listed travel company in Taiwan. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we have 3 things to share with you about our post-COVID strategy. First is we invest a lot in the destination resources in Taiwan. Basically, we help our investees to level up, to create high-level, high-quality experience, and we help them with their digital transformation. That means their product will be digitalized and sell to the channel all over the world. And our goal is to get the FIT business in domestic travel, which represents about 95% of our total addressable market in Taiwan. And that actually prepare us for the future inbound travel. Next slide, please. And second, we invest in new travel tech because the technology is reshaping the travel industry in Taiwan. So we believe it will create better service and new growth. This technology including mobile internet, AI, blockchain, NFT, Web3 concept. We are currently investing and cooperating with some new travel tech startups. Next slide, please. And third, since we control good resources in Taiwan, and we actually are still the largest outbound travel company in Taiwan. So I think we are going to be well prepared for the future international travel recovery. So because Taiwanese people really love Japan, and actually the numbers shows that the #1 destination target for Taiwanese tourists is Japan. So I'm really looking forward to cooperate with our friends in travel agencies in Japan. So nice to meet you, everyone. I hope to chat more about Lion strategy. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, everyone. This is James from MomentX. And MomentX is a spin-off brand from Trip Moment. Trip Moment, which is online travel media in Taiwan. And we not only provide articles, but videos and also VR travel contents since 2015. And during the pandemic, we turning our VR department into a Metaverse department and give it a new name called MomentX. So next slide, please. Yeah, and MomentX is a cross-chain metaverse powered by Web3 and VR technology. And one of our goals is helping brands in real life, develop their business in metaverse. So for travel industries, we could help nations, cities, artists, and any kind of IPs, into metaverse. Then by creating an IP featured space, NFTs. And we're helping issue this NFT and tokens, just provide the technology behind it. And also we help them to marketing and operation this new concept in Metaverse world. So we'll talk about this later. So thanks.
Okay, thank you guys for sharing and introducing what's so cool that you guys are now doing. So let's enter our panel discussion part. So the topic of this session, Taiwan turning the moment in history or the moment in crisis into the opportunity, okay? And since 3 of you are doing something, that's quite innovation. So let's start with Gina. My first question for Gina is, since you were introducing placemaking, right? The local regional revitalization to bring, local elements onto the market, onto the platform. How pandemic inspired Taiwan local communities in your perspective?
Well, I would say that it's not the pandemic inspired the local community. On the other hand, I would say it is because the people now stay in Taiwan, they are not able to travel abroad. And so they look for the different content where they can visit. So in the past, I would say Taiwanese people really like to travel abroad. We have like more than 40 million people do the outbound travel. Now these people actually all stay in Taiwan. So they don't want to go to the same place and then visit the same content. So that's why they are trying to dig out a new thing. That's where the placemaking, or we call regional revitalization, actually help. Because there are many people in the community or in the Aboriginal tribes, they actually build up a system where actually if you visit, they can tell their story and show their lifestyle or living way, just like I showed in my presentation previously. But in the past, because people may be thinking about, oh, it's more interesting to go outbound abroad. So they actually didn't, stay in Taiwan, have enough time to enjoy these different kind of like local community trips. So for example, like Lion Travel, for example, they actually look for different content as well. So I know a lot of my friends now in the placemaking place actually are connected with the Lion Travel or other like a big travel agency. So that's, I think, the differences between the pandemic before or after. It is because people stay in Taiwan, they look for the diverse or authentic experience, and that make the placemaking group or association that is now be well known to others.
Gina, since you mentioned that the placemaking trend was kind of like contributed by the lockdown of the borders, it doesn't sound like a positive motivation. So I'm just wondering, after pandemic, after the borders are reopened again, then how would this placemaking trend going to do?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. And that is also something actually, my association is between like the bridge between the travel agency and the placemaking group or like association. Why? Is because it used to be the placemaking group. They're thinking about they are just want to promote their culture. So they are not, they lack of a sustainable business model. And why when they work with the travel agency, because they also don't know the business about the travel agency. So how to let them two group can work together. And so that after the, let's say, when it is safe for people to travel, yes, Taiwanese people will go outbound, but definitely we will have the inbound tourists for sure. And now because of this 2 years lockdown in Taiwan, so the placemaking people now understand how to work with the travel agency. And at the same time, like travel agency also understand the contents of the placemaking and how to make it as like a good itinerary to attract the people, not just for Taiwan, maybe in the future also for the people, for the inbound tourists. So I would say, yes, then maybe the people in Taiwan will then go outbound again, but again, we will have more like inbound tourists. And just like Lion Travel say that a lot of people in Taiwan actually go to Japan, but we also have a lot of Japan, tourists to come to Taiwan. So we now have the more fun and the local authentic program that actually can provide to the tourists from Japan and other places. So I'm not actually quite worried about that. Yeah.
Okay. So that's very good. From very local and to be like commercialized and customized for the market, and then to the inbound tourists for the international travel in coming future. That's very good. So Gina just mentioned about the travel agency's role. So Ryan, as a leader, in Taiwan travel industry, how does Lion see this placemaking? And since I know that Lion Travel is owning and running some destination properties, so what's Lion's strategy toward this?
Hi, Daniel. As I mentioned, we kind of just invest in the destination resources because we think it's just different segments of the market. So as you mentioned, the luxury travel market in Taiwan rebounded a lot. And since Lion Travel helped a lot of rich people to travel around the world, we really understand what is luxury means. So we kind of like invest in the resources that we think that can be meet the highest quality and standard of the international level. So we want to create a high quality experience in Taiwan, which means we want to serve the luxury market first, since they represent better margin and the market. It's just different market segment. And Lion Travel right now we focus mainly on the kind of like high level, high quality resources in the destinations. And we think that represents opportunities for Lion, since that market segment represents better profit and probably better growth too. And that's my answer for you, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. But as we all know that travel agency plays the role for channel. So like in the past, our the format is that travel agency collects contents from the local suppliers and sell it out to the market and doing the service in between. But since we noticed that Lion Travel invested a lot onto the local destination properties, and these properties like used to be owned by the government. So like a first question, like how does Lion Travel to kind of like think about running a local properties with a lot of efforts, and then how do you deal with the government about these kind of like industry, government, public sector relationship?
Okay, I have 2 points to share. First, as we can all understand that government owns the resources in Taiwan, including land, resource, but government has a big problem. They do not know how to well operate that location, and they do not know how to create a high level experience. So it's pretty smart for the government to actually cooperate with enterprises like Lion, so we can help them to create a better experience which serves the customer better and will attract new international travelers in the future. And government actually gets pretty good rent that we pay the government. So it's a win-win situation. And another thing about Lion Travel is, since we are the #1 listed company in Taiwan, the #1 listed travel company in Taiwan, we actually have pretty well relationship with the government. And there is a lot of policy discussions with the government. So we actually has our influences to the government, and we do maintain a pretty well relationship with the government. And that also means I think in the future we will see more and more smarter policies from the government, that the government will be more willing to cooperate to actually do some OT or BOT business that actually will help the whole travel industry to level up. That's my response. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. So that in this special timing, the private sector could push the government to do some changes and influence them on the policy making to do better decision for the society, for the industry. That is very good. So let's come from the offline to online, from the real to virtual. Now comes to James. People are so curious and interested about Metaverse. And since you have the travel background and you have the media background in terms of your company, your business, I'm just wondering, is it profitable to do Metaverse plus travel products? And are these profitable products available yet? How will travel industry pursue that profitable goal?
Okay, so in my opinion, I would say that combine metaverse with NFT, to create a GameFi or social, or we call social finance experience would be a good beginning. And it would be like create a tourist destination in metaverse, but not just that, but that would feature with real world attractions, landmark, culture related symbols. So it's not just copy a real world into metaverse. It's more like use those IPs in reality to create a new whole metaverse experience. So like Tokyo Tower can be an IP, like an ancient world, ancient items, pop cultures, Taipei cities, nations, all these IPs can transform into into a metaverse attractions to let people, let users to visit. So, and also like events could be an IP, like just finished the Tokyo Olympics. So then people can use the those IP to create NFTs, and NFT can consider as metaverse commodities, like selling souvenirs, so that's allows we to create like a GameFi like metaverse experience and also make a profit. So for talking about
Right, so,
there
so actually the core value of the travel industry for metaverse is the creation, the possibility for the creativity, for our IP, for our content to be commercialized again, or like even more valuable on the metaverse world.
Yeah, and I think that gives us a huge advantage, because in real life you can only sell your goods to the people you like face to face, or through the like a mailbox, to deliver to a certain corner of in the world. But in the metaverse world, it's just a one click. You can have your digital asset to your digital wallet. So that makes the transaction more like we call it frictionless, and more like trustworthy. So that makes the you can actually sell your products around the world in just a click of seconds.
Got it.
And yeah.
Okay, thank you. But I think this is quite surprising that you combine travel and media and metaverse technology and combine them together, to imagine a future that travel industry may not see right now. So let's see, like, how in the future your company or metaverse in Taiwan can work with the world.
Okay, and I think the first we are planning to build like a Taipei or Taiwan metaverse, and hopefully we can build it with Lion Travel, and we can also use our technology to build this kind of metaverse experience, with all the guys here, like in travel industry. We can help build like a Tokyo metaverse experience, like some like pop culture music concert experience in metaverse. So I think it's just we can call it a new blue ocean for travel industry. They can not only do business in real world, but also can do their business in metaverse, in a virtual world. And that opened a huge, business potentials there.
Okay, that's very good. Also, let's round up this panel with some rapid fire questions. So you just answer me your, quick response. First, reopening or keep lockdown? Gina.
Keep lockdown this year.
Ryan?
Maybe reopen until the end of 2022.
James?
I think just open it. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 versus 1. North Asia or South Asia?
North Asia.
South Asia.
Ryan?
South Asia. Japan.
And James?
I would say we do metaverse, it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's cool. Last question, virtual economy or real economy?
Well, I still think real economy. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Brian?
Both growth, new market, new money.
Mm. Okay, and James, of course,
I'm
right?
with Ryan. I think we're gonna to do both. Yeah,
To do both.
I'm
Okay,
with Ryan.
okay. Okay, so just sum up that we have to be open-minded to the other markets, but maybe the timing it's really a matter. And then we can focus on North Asia because that's closer to Taiwan travel market. So we put in efforts and investment on that. And finally, we are not only doing real economy or virtual economy, we are doing hybrid economy for Taiwan, well, not only Taiwan, but for the world, to embrace a new world order. Okay, so this is the end of our panel discussion and hope to work with you and to see you, with the world in post-COVID era. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gina, Ryan, and James.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.